To be happy, you need to be tough. Being happy is the smartest thing that you can pursue in life. Basically, playing the game of life to maximize your amount of consistent happiness. But you need to be able to be tough for that because otherwise, it's so easy to get pulled into negative frames, negative thought streams, negative spirals. You know, a lot of the time, our thoughts just come to us. You know, you're having a pleasant day, you're walking along, and then boom. You know, you think about your childhood friend that passed away, and you feel sad. You feel, whenever I feel sadness, I feel something in my stomach to the right or left side, maybe a bit of energy in the kidney. It's like a light nausea. And if you indulge that, you could be in the hole for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, depending on how bad you are at reframing sadness or certain types of stress, right? Can make you angry, can throw you off balance, can throw you into, a childhood pattern of this is unfair. Why does this have to happen to me? I didn't do anything wrong. I don't deserve this. Patterns that people still go through in their adulthood because they haven't recognized those patterns and haven't stopped torturing themselves with those patterns. And as you get older, there's so many more experiences you've had that are sad. There's so much more stress that you've had to deal with. There's so much more that's expected of you, as opposed to when in childhood, when your basic default state is happy. You don't have to do a lot to be happy. You don't have to be particularly tough because you have your parents who are navigating the world for you and making sure you have clothes and money and are dressed and have food and all that stuff that you have to take on as an adult, all those pressures and strains of adult life. So you don't need to be particularly tough to be happy as a kid. But as an adult, it's probably the number one prerequisite for happiness. What I mean by that is to be happy, yes, you have to be able to be physically healthy. You have to have the right mental thoughts, and you have to have the right emotions. Happiness is the feeling of love, and you need to be in that state, that loving state, that peaceful state, and have all those factors together. But to be able to consistently be in that state and to be able to consistently generate positive thoughts, positive emotions, positive sensations in your body by, eating healthy and exercise, you need to be mentally tough. Because otherwise, as an adult, there are so many more negative inputs from the external world, as well as negative thought spirals that you can fall into than when you were a kid. And ultimately, what you want is to be able to reclaim that childhood happiness in adulthood, reclaim that zest for life. And you need to be tough to do it, to not fall into, a negative pattern. Even if you're losing a loved one, even if, God forbid, you've got a parent who's dying, or even if you're going through some things in your business that are difficult, you're at least able to stay up on neutral and not go into the lower states of consciousness like depression and nihilism, which is, I believe, is lower than depression, is nihilism, which is where a lot of guys end up in early adulthood. A lot of them are on these, 4chan and these really, really negative forums, trying to mitigate that nihilism through really dark humor, which doesn't work. Ultimately, positive thinking is the only way out of it, and finding a way to create meaning within your life. But you have to be tough to do all that. You've got to be tough to understand the world as it really is, to take that pill, so to speak, and to be able to create positive reality out of it. Okay, but here's the deal. There's guys that are, able to be happy in prisons. There's guys that are able to be happy in war zones as soldiers. Some of those guys are happier as soldiers because they have missions, but it comes from mental toughness. You need to be tough to be happy, because otherwise you're constantly being pulled down into sadness, depression, anger, frustration. because there's just so much that you need to do in life to be a man, to be a successful man. There's so much that you need to do, and so much that you need to be on point on. And you've got 25, 35 years of experiences. You've got, years where you were depressed. You've got all these different things that if you don't have ruthless control over your thought patterns and that mental toughness, you're going to just keep going downstate all day long. The second you get up, you're going to be going downstate, within the next hour. So recognize that your state is always within your control. And mental toughness, that's really just a shorthand. What that actually means in terms of your reference points and in terms of actually taking action is you just refusing to spoil your own state because of a thought that you had or a physical sensation in your kidneys or the fact that you didn't close a deal or your girlfriend's upset, right? You're not indulging those thought spirals. And when you actually examine your behavior, you'll see, like, let's say you're watching a movie or listening to a song and it makes you sad. You choose to go into that hour, 2 hour sadness spiral. And a lot of the time, like, your focus will naturally move away from that onto something else, like, oh, look, there's a dog. Or, you start thinking about your business, and you'll constantly keep choosing to go back to that sad thing. And it's wanting to feel that sadness. Instead of, I don't have to. Instead of, I don't want to feel that. I'm going to experience whatever sensations are coming up and reverberating from that, but I'm not indulging that thought pattern, and I'm choosing to indulge either something's positive, or if I can't get up to positive, I'm going to indulge something neutral. One of the best ways out of that is gratefulness for what you have already, or focusing on your mission or your work, which is probably my favorite because I'll forget whatever I was thinking about once I move into getting things done, and then at the end of the day, I'm always happy from having got things done. So the mental toughness is a shorthand. It's a shorthand for the action of choosing not to go into sadness, depression, anger, and doing that consistently. And you'll see that you are actually addicted to those thought patterns, especially if you're an inherently negative person. It's interesting, Wes Watson, one of my favorite YouTubers, talks about being an inherently negative person. And I feel like in a lot of ways that I am. I've got a lot of reframing to do when I wake up in the morning. Part of that is having a hypervigilant mind, in the sense that, like, I'm always examining possibilities and all the things that I have to do, and permutations and calculations based on one of these things, and it's a domino effect. One thing affects the other, but it's not something that I allow to pull me down. And as the day goes on, my mood gets better and better because I'm knocking things off the checklist, and I'm getting control over my environment through action. And that's what I mean by mental toughness. It's choosing action, it's choosing to be proactive, and it's choosing not to go in to negative thought patterns. Because when you do that, people think, well, why would I want to feel sad? Why would I want to feel angry? But you do, okay? It's true that that a lot of the time your thoughts just come to you, okay? From the spirit, from the ether. But you have control over managing that reality and whether you choose to go back to those thoughts or whether you choose to go back to those sensations. Because oftentimes any strong emotion will have a physical sensation, right? For me, it's usually around the kidneys and the stomach area. Like fear, for example, is a solar plexus. A solar plexus, it's kind of which, is fight or flight and feels a bit nauseous. That's what fear feels like to me. Oftentimes excitement feels the same way. So understanding that is really important for you to be able to recognize the triggers or when negative states are coming up. But awareness is the key to all this, and choosing not to go into those states as part of your character, as part of mental toughness, as part of your character. Taking pride in that and recognizing that, hey, I've been choosing to go into these negative patterns. I wanted to feel bad. I wanted to feel angry. A lot of people are addicted to anger. They're addicted to righteous anger. Like, how dare that person talk to me? And they'll reverberate it around it for hours, and then they'll call up their friends to talk about how angry they were and how justified they are in being angry. Okay, they're addicted to that pattern. They're choosing that pattern. They want to be angry because no one can make you feel anything. So all the feelings that you have are feelings that you want. It's crazy. And by no means am I perfect at this whatsoever. But I at least recognize that there's a game being played and that I'm playing the game, and that mental toughness to keep my mood above neutral is the crucial key. Depression is being depressed is not something that I've experienced. That's something that I really knocked out in my 20s. Anger is one thing, that's for sure. And it's not that people want to be angry as their absolute primary emotion. It's the fact that they want something to happen and that thing doesn't happen. They want something to happen that'll make them happy. Let's say, $1 million or whatever in their business. And that doesn't happen, and then they want to be angry as a result of that thing not happening. So it's their second choice. Okay, that thing doesn't happen. I want to be angry that it's not happening, instead of I don't want to be angry. I want to figure out how to get that thing, and I want to continue to be in a peaceful, happy state. Okay? And I'll give you a perfect example that happens to me in the country I'm living in right now in Eastern Europe. People drive like maniacs and are extremely inconsiderate, and it'll be, in the course of one of my walks, I'll see some guy, who's slowing down at the last minute so you can cross, or so like an old lady can cross. And I think, fuck this motherfucker, inconsiderate motherfucker, right? I hope he crashes. That's a thought that reverberates through my head. And truly, I think I don't have much sympathy for people who are that inconsiderate. Even when I'm not upset, they can go fuck themselves as far as I'm concerned. But I don't want to be angry, right? So immediately, I'm choosing a focus change. I'm registering, okay, that anger came to me, but I'm not staying in that state. To me, that's mental toughness. The ability to regulate your emotions, the ability to refrain from being in negative thought patterns. I remember this quote from Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York, and guy who built Bloomberg Technologies. You can think what you want about his politics. Personally, I don't give a shit about politics. But he just said, he didn't have time for bad days anymore. And I thought that was a really cool quote. Like, you just don't have time to do that bullshit anymore. And if you look at pretty much everyone that you admire, they're always of a cheerful disposition, usually, right? Anybody that's successful, politicians, Donald Trump, Jeff Bezos, every interview he's cheerful despite what's going on, and that's a sign of mental strength. Being depressed, consistently going into depressed, is a sign of mental weakness. Okay, it's not trying to beat up on anybody or say that your circumstances aren't valid, and it's something that I experienced a lot, but I was doing it to myself. I was choosing that state. And you have total control over that, which is great news. And even if you're not able to get into a high enough state, you're at least able to, when you're greeting people and stuff, being able to present a positive attitude, right? Um, that's mental toughness consistently. And if you want to see some of these, examples taken to the extreme, I love reading about soldiers, going through crazy things, and I love reading about guys in prison surviving these crazy prison wars and being able to come out of it, in shape, mentally on point, up early every morning, like coming out of it like a true soldier, with a positive attitude, because it shows what's possible for the human spirit, in terms of mental toughness, and in terms of being able to be happy despite whatever's going on around you. And ultimately, money and girls and whatever it is that you're chasing are just tools for happiness. So start with happiness. Your state is really all you have. So don't let someone else take that. Don't let, someone else take up take up space inside your head rent free. Allow them to make you sad or angry or throw your state off. And a lot of the time, the negative thoughts are almost always about people. Don't allow the problems of the world, the politics, or people starving around the world. Don't allow that to throw you off your game. That's mental toughness too. Being able to shut out, like from a structural perspective, not watching the news, not watching politics, not watching any of these things that hijack your amygdala, your fear, your fight or flight responses. Not going into sadness or nihilism over what's going on in the world, or not going into anger over some politician did something. Controlling that reality from a structural perspective, like minimizing and getting rid of as many negative outputs as possible and as many negative people as possible, is a sign of mental toughness. And then being hyper vigilant with awareness of your reality and awareness of your thoughts, and just choosing not to go into negative states and catching yourself. Like, I'll forget an hour from now. I'm gonna head over to the gym. I'll forget an hour from now, and I'll see someone do something crazy on the road, and I'll think, "Fuck this motherfucker," and then catch myself, because I'm getting faster and faster every year. But that awareness is key, and then make mental toughness part of your character. Just start telling yourself, like, you're a tough guy. Your character, your pride is based around that reality that you're mentally tough. I've got a client of mine who lost a parent, had another parent get sick, didn't even slow his roll in terms of like really aggressive business goals. Despite the fact he's flying back and forth, planning a funeral, has a wife and kids, and some things going on, in the business, and cheerful as ever. Because that's what you want, really. That's what all this stuff is for, to be able to be happy, right? So start with that and start recognizing, like, being tough is part of your character. You're tough, but you're going to choose not to go into these negative thought states. And then it just becomes a part of you. It just becomes a new habit. And you might be the first person in your family history. Like, there are families where you're the first person to go to university, or you're the first person to start a business in hundreds of years of that family. You might also be the first person to become mentally tough and have a positive attitude despite what's going on. Because you're coming from this vacuum of negativity, which a lot of people are coming from. I wouldn't have much of a business if people were coming, if everyone was raised by Richard Branson or somebody. Okay. So make toughness a part of your character, make it part of your pride. Start with that. Recognize that it can't be taken from you, even in a prison cell. That there's guys out there, there's guys doing, 15 years locked up, half of that time in the hole in confinement, that are able to keep a positive attitude. So whatever problems you have are fucking small in comparison. And as I get older, I recognize the only real problems are health, right? Like relationships, you can always find another girl. Money, you can make more money, like once you know what you're doing. Health, feeling sick or whatever is the real problem, man. The rest of it's all small time stuff. Read about these guys just going through it and who are able to keep positive, and you're just going to feel like a little bitch for whining about your problems, and immediately it just puts everything in perspective, and then you're good to be being happy again. So recognize that you have to be hard to be happy. Okay, not in that sense, although with the right girl, that certainly helps. And you need to be tough to be happy. So make it a part of your character. And guess what? It's totally free. Doesn't cost you anything. And the benefits are massive, enormous, never ending. Make it part of who you are. Consistently choose to be upstate. Consistently choose to be above neutral. Consistently choose not to go into depression, doubt, anxiety, fear. Recognize when those thoughts come to you. Recognize, be honest with yourself about they're coming to you. But choose not to indulge them. Choose not to go into those spirals. Choose not to sit there for 2 hours being, quote, overwhelmed by them. And choose a focus change into something positive. A lot of the time it's just heading back, being on point on your business, being on point on your mission. The mission just clarifies and shuts so many things out that you'll forget about what you're upset about. So I hope this message found you well. If you want a bit of help with this, check me out, revolutionarylifestylezen.com/coaching, my peak performance coaching. I've helped a lot of guys with this stuff. If not, check out all my mind videos on YouTube. I got a ton of stuff on being happier, on coming out of depressed, all this good stuff. And make sure to subscribe to my newsletter, my YouTube channel, or just keep watching this stuff and keep implementing it. And much love to you.